Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles, brought to you by Sean Porter Promotions.
That hit different today.
Right.
I don't know.
I saw Hafey nodding his head.
Sean didn't actually write any words down when he was scribbling when the show started. He just wanted to look busy. He's like, oh, they can see me now.
They literally teach you in college, if nothing else, just write down notes because it looks good.
Yeah, just look busy.
Yeah.
That what they tell you?
Yeah.
That's what they told you?
They said when you're interviewing someone, it makes them feel good when you're writing notes down. It just makes them,
It's like a boxer winning on activity.
Listen.
The busier fighter.
Unless you get interviewed by the police. Then that's a whole different. Y'all never got interviewed by the police, huh? I almost snitched on my brother. I was like 6, okay? He was a
6.
My brother was a knucklehead, and they found something, and he wasn't supposed to have it. I said, I seen that before. My mom said, shut the hell up.
And then he did that. I can't see anything. I can't see anything at all.
You know, because when you're a kid, like you're excited to know something.
Exactly.
And
The
you're
cops came
excited
over to
to
my house. My brother was a
give it.
knucklehead. Shout out to my brother. He changed his life around. I ain't gonna say which one. But yeah, they said, hey, have you ever seen this before? My mom said, no. I said, yeah, I seen that before.
He was excited.
On TV.
Couldn't wait to snitch. Hey.
Excited.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Porterway Podcast. We are live.
Hey, he got a soccer jersey on.
There you go. Gave me a wave too.
we were his fan.
You
in
know,
that
somebody
moment.
actually has literally the exact same jersey on me today that walked past.
Is that what that was?
Not that one.
No.
right
Okay,
there.
I was
Someone
like, that- he
earlier.
wasn't wearing
I
yellow.
saw it and I was like, well played.
You're like same wardrobe.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Blue Wire Studios inside the Wynn Hotel and Casino. We want to thank Blue Wire Studios for having us and just allowing us to do what we do and get to the business. You know what? I did some PSAs last week.
Doom, doom, doom. I can't do the Jay-Z beat.
Got a couple more this week. So you got the email.
Go ahead.
Let's start with the Box Fan Expo.
You can pull up.
We will be in attendance.
Okay.
The Box Fan Expo is September 17th. Right out here, it's the 6th annual Fan Expos for you guys. We come, we hang out, we take pictures, we give autographs, we sell merchandise. We hang out. Most of us do. It really is, man. Boxing is like a family, you know. So when we get in there, I encourage y'all all to come out because you will be able to see some of your favorite fighters, if not all of your favorite
So
fighters.
it's more like the Box Fam Expo.
Yeah, you really, and Box Fam, what you want to sell pitch for that or
No.
No?
You got the commission. You got the kickback.
Well, no, I'm saying like yeah,
Yeah.
because eventually
I've never been.
Yeah, maybe we should just do something and call it. It's probably what conversation.
Carry on.
We already talked about what we're gonna do.
Yeah, but no, I've actually never been there.
I went like every
You
year.
didn't go with me?
No.
Never been with
We
me.
went for everybody went
Damn.
for spin.
You have no choice but to go every year.
Yeah, I've went like every year.
You be at home shaking.
Hey, it's about time for you to get your own booth.
Yeah, no, it's too much money making opportunities interviewing fighters than there is.
Oh,
Yeah.
People-
No, just I was a little
thought you
too
did-
honest right there.
I
but
thought
it's
you did
true.
it for the love of the game. I ain't thought it was about money.
I mean, here, Leo, eat this love of the game I brought home with me.
Slow down.
I got it.
You guys better. Any fan that's interested, and it's in September.
September 17th.
Triple G Canelo Fight Week.
Yep.
You guys better get in line early for Ant's autographs and merch.
Oh yeah, I'm signing. You know, we signing everything. We're signing boobs. We're signing
Boxing
shirts,
gloves, maybe?
Boxing gloves.
It's the first thing he says.
Pivot away from that.
We gotta start hot. We gotta come low. So yeah, you know, we're gonna have a good time. I'll be up there next Sean Porter. So if you can't find Sean, you'll find me.
Listen, September 17th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will be kicking it. The Porterway Podcast will be there. We'll be doing some live stuff. So if by chance you aren't able to make it, yes, you will be able to see what's going on at the Box Fan Expo, and hopefully that will encourage you to come out next year because I'm sure they're going to do it next year at the Las Vegas Convention Center. We do have an affiliate link. So you go to this link and you'll be able to purchase tickets at this link, bit.ly/the Porterway. So that's our link. You guys go to that link and get you some tickets. Come on out. It is the same weekend as Triple G versus Canelo. And
It'll be in the
We working that fight too?
we will be working that.
Dang, we got a busy
working
week.
that Yeah, we
You gotta work that week. Yeah, don't dodge us.
Don't duck me, son.
I'm gonna tell you guys real quick. Some of the fighters that have been here before. I don't know if you guys know, but Floyd Mayweather has made a couple appearances at the Box Fan Expo. Canelo has been there before. No, excuse me. Yeah, Canelo's been there before.
Andre Ward.
Errol Spence Jr., Andre Ward, Roy Jones Jr., Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, the who's of boxing.
James Toney.
Floyd Mayweather Sr., Jesse Vargas, Vinny Paz, my guy. You know, so the list goes on. Hopefully, Demetrius Andre will be out here.
He's been there a couple of times.
Yeah. He's been there.
Danny Jacobs too.
Riddick Bowe. I mean, the list goes on. Michael Spinks was there back in the day.
Eric Morales.
It's a great time, man. It's really is a great time to just be around your favorite fighters and fans alike. You know, so not very many opportunities to do that. We will make another announcement next week about the Hall of Fame.
And the link will be in the description.
The link will be in the description, but we'll make another announcement about the Hall of Fame because there's another opportunity if you happen to well, this is after the Hall of Fame, but we'll announce some things for the Hall of Fame next week.
And it's really great that they always put it around a big fight. Usually they do it around a Canelo fight, Mexican Independence Weekend, but that just makes it to where if you're flying into Vegas or driving out to Vegas, I believe it's the same exact day as the fight. It makes sense if you're a boxing fan to, go to the expo during the day, get your autographs and stuff, and then especially if you have a ticket to the fight, that's probably the best way to spend the first half of the day before doors open.
And talk about. I mean, even talking about the fight, like when we did the paintball against the fans, the day of Bivol Canelo,
right?
And it's one of those things on a fight day. If you're around other boxing fans, it's just automatically going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? And so I assume at the Box Fan Expo, you're getting to meet a lot of boxers, but also there's going to be some conversation about boxing topics.
It's almost like a tailgate, I guess.
Yeah. Cool.
If you guys are like, well, Porterweight boxing, that's cool. Happy you guys are going to be there, but what else am I getting when I come?
A lot.
The Box Fan Expo, they're going to send me a list of fighters that are going to be there week by week because they're making announcements themselves. So for this week, they told me to announce that Eric Morales will be there, David Benavidez will be there,
El Terrible,
and Jesse Vargas will be there. So that's just a small list. They're going to release some more names every single week all the way up until that week of September 17th. So once again, the link, it's in the lower half of the podcast. Where do they put that? I never watched.
Just the description.
Would you stop saying that? Hey, put in the comments who you guys would like to see there. Would you like to see Carson? Because he's coming. He doesn't have a
Because
choice.
he's coming.
He asked the question like he was going to get a response.
But then I thought he was talking about boxers.
Put it in the comments.
And he's like, who these fighters? Or Carson.
Me and Carson.
Like to see David Benavidez
we
or
read the
Bandeira
comments.
Roja?
We watched the
Or
show
Carson.
and like Sean. No, Sean, you watch the show.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. You got to watch the show, bro.
Watch the show.
It's underwhelming.
That is crazy.
Sheesh.
I watched some parts.
Yeah.
When you talk.
Yep.
He just clicks. He's watching on his phone and just clicks through and sees himself. And he's like, "Doot, doot, doot."
What about last week? Sean said, "Yeah, I like to talk that shit." What did he say? I'm having fun. What did he say? I'm having fun.
I can't remember. I'm just having fun.
He said, "Talk that shit." He said, "Oh, I'm having fun."
I don't remember.
So we go watch Rock My Train over the week.
Yeah.
Just a couple of days ago.
Yep.
And we're talking to Joel
Yoel Judah.
Judah. And Sean goes on one of his little things. And I mean, it never ceases. Like every time I'm just like, damn, like how does he do this? And so, Judah walks away. I said, damn, man, how do you do this? He said, man, I'm happy I'm able to carry conversation with y'all. I'm like, shit, you can do more than that.
Yeah, just to, Yoel, former kickboxing champion, trained, his son and Devin to become undisputed. Well, he, co-trainer with Bill. But yeah, it's been there. Sean has fought the best fighters of this era. So when they allow me or Carson and Ant, you guys know how it feels. When they let you pontificate and have a seat at the table and talk boxing, even though you didn't go through the battles they did to have that knowledge, it's an honor.
Played some fight night.
I know we'll get into
Play
it.
some fight night.
Yeah, I know we'll get into it, and I know you like to be the one to segue. But
Yeah, you got it.
I had Barry Hunter come over to the house to watch some fights with us, and I wanted Barry to like be around these guys to hear them and see that they really do know the game. And Carson ended up saying something, and Barry agreed, so on and so forth. And I was looking over there, and then Carson was like, yeah,
Yeah.
It give you that feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Barry co-signing.
What was it? What was the cosign?
Well, I can't remember what fight we were watching.
I don't remember what fight we were watching.
He co-signed so many times. It
No,
could've been-
we were watching. I don't know what fight we were watching, and I think we had it scored the exact same.
Yeah.
He was like, I have it the same way. I was like,
Yep.
jacking my style, but I guess that's fine. Yeah, do you want to go? Do you want to just go to the fights yesterday?
Yeah. Did you go to the fights yesterday?
It was in Minnesota.
I was. I mean, I got to catch.
Where did you go yesterday? I don't know.
I was at the Monster Jam at Thomas and Mack.
Who won?
I think Gravedigger did win.
Oh, Gravedigger.
does he have
Hold it
a
down.
streak like the Undertaker?
It's the name of the car. The driver changed.
The driver
Oh,
changed. I
yeah,
assumed there was a
yeah,
100-year-old guy in there still
Because
driving.
I couldn't believe that the same driver was in this vehicle.
No, they changed.
Yeah.
It's a different driver.
That's
but
what they
the
want you to
car
But they held it
remains
down,
the
though,
same.
huh?
Yeah, they did. It was really loud. I was scared along with my son. If I'd have known, I'd have brought those headphones right away. But I got to catch Gabe Flores' fight.
Yeah.
And then I caught half of Dogboe Gonzalez because main event truck time was on and my son was
Yeah,
no.
obviously.
Let's go
yeah.
back to Gabe real quick.
Yeah, co-main against Cabrera.
That was tough. A little tough.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Just real quick, the monster truck racing. What are you doing?
Going back to that?
And it's
Yeah, well, I'm
important.
just
I thought you were gonna say, or the Cleveland guys, Abdullah Mason and
no.
Dante Benjamin got knockouts.
And then we'll get to them too.
Yeah.
But I just want would you recommend people? We just talked about it. Would you recommend people go to monster truck? What is it? Racing?
If your
or
child is
competition?
below 5, definitely bring some headphones
Yeah.
for their ears.
Yeah.
Brace them. That is going to be very loud.
Yeah. But it's
And
a
if they're about 5 and up, they're just going to be so excited.
good family event to,
Yeah,
to,
for sure.
to attend.
Absolutely.
Cars
There you go.
crashing into each other, isn't it?
Not that it's like the 2022 PC version of Monster Truck Jam. They don't mash into each other anymore, Carson.
They run over like the other empty
They don't even
cars.
do that now.
Dang.
They just,
What are they making? What are they making? Left
They
and
hit
right,
hills.
left and right turns.
They hit
using
hills.
blinkers.
It's like they do like a trick competition, like who could do the best
Flashing
trick
the
up the
lights.
ramp.
Yeah.
And then
He's like, no, you go.
Then they do the 2-wheel balance comp. Who can keep their car suspended in the air the longest?
Who can turn the quickest at the 4-way stop?
They do that as well. Yeah.
The 360.
Yes.
hey,
Yeah.
shout out to Sean Zittel. Him and my boy Joe is
They go.
in the battle of best parent.
They
and
go.
And I'm coming for y'all, okay?
Yeah, they
I'm
go.
coming for y'all
Oh,
neck.
no.
That's all I know. I'm coming for y'all neck.
Ants working his way into
Oh
a
yeah,
mandatory,
yeah. I'm
mandatory
trying.
status.
Yeah, I'm trying to get up there. Sean got to step it up. They coming for y'all.
I do.
Sean,
Gotta step it
Sean
up.
be like, Sean took his kid to the beach twice. It's like, hey, that's it. For life. Hey, but Sean's I tell now. He
Now
always.
Sean
Great
does the
dad,
stuff for
absolutely.
substance. Like he'll change a diaper.
I change
I
diapers.
think-
You
I think-
change diapers.
Not number 2s. You know.
Hold on.
Anyways,
I
I feel
get murked in my house.
It's not in his contract.
yeah.
Hey,
It's the
I'm-
number ones only.
Hey,
Yes.
the other day she gave me the baby. I'm like, hey, what you doing? And I was like, yeah, don't say that. Just change the baby. You crazy, boy.
There's more days ahead.
Yeah, it's not worth it. All right, so
Why you
Talk
think
about
I'm so
poop in the
nice?
bed. No,
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
so
you
the
good.
the Cleveland guys, Abdullah Mason, Dante Benjamin on the undercard, both exceptional fights. Watch your knees,
My
please.
apologies.
Watch your feet. But yeah, so the co-main,
I saw Abdullah just
he's unbelievable.
yeah,
He's good.
Think so?
Yeah, he's really good.
and from a great place, right?
Of course, yeah.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, him and Dante, Free Smoke, Benjamin.
And he's a part of 5 brothers that all box.
Yeah.
The oldest one, Amir. I think Sean's met some of these guys.
I met them all, but
Right.
I've only seen Amir work. I haven't seen anybody else work.
Well, Amir's kind of unorthodox and
A little bit.
yeah, he is. He's got his own style.
Yeah.
But Abdullah he's got a couple of the older brothers box before him, and it's like Canelo had his older brother Ricardo and Rigoberto, and sometimes older brother's the best one, but sometimes that younger brother is the one that becomes the breadwinner for the family, and maybe Abdullah's that, and he's not the oldest. He's I think 3 out of 5 or fourth
think he's
youngest out of
4.
5. Yeah,
Yeah,
fourth out of 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all trained by their dad. He's a part of 5 brothers that all box. And I was impressed with them. I'm not going to get into what happened when they sparred. And clearly one guy was a professional champion, Devin Haney, and the other was a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
But I was impressed just with the fact that he was able to get in the ring with
Hold his
Haney a
own.
couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a learning experience, but he's got a very bright future.
Yeah,
Abdullah
I'm-
Mason.
I'm very high on Abdullah.
Abdullah
Mason.
is 18 years old. What is he? Is he 2-0 now?
Yeah,
at least
3. Maybe.
I was thinking 3.
Yeah,
3-0 now.
and he actually, he's him and all his brothers, like Sean, got that Cleveland raised well niceness to them, but he has a mean streak, Abdullah.
Yeah.
And he can get mean in there too.
They always say beware the quiet ones.
Right.
He's like the quiet one of the group. The 2 youngest are the quieter ones.
Yeah.
So watch out for that.
Yeah, he's gonna be legit. But then co-main, Gabe Flores got in there and
Got toasted.
yeah, he's coming off.
he got
well, no,
toasted.
so he loses. I'm going back. So he loses he gets his
You
first
gotta say it
loss.
one more time.
Yeah, he got toasted.
He gets his first loss, and it was like, man, and it wasn't just a loss. We talked about it at the time, but he got hammered. Like the whole fight just got dominated.
Worse than last night.
Yeah. That one.
I would say so.
It was bad
Worse than last night.
Yeah, but so then his next fight he has a majority decision win, and everyone's like, I don't know, like you got back in there, but then we talked about on the show that afterwards he was very critical of his performance even though he won, and then his dad was critical, and it was like a really weird interview. Bernardo Ozuna was even like, yeah, I think you guys are gonna like get past it, like it'll be okay, like moving forward. But then last night, I think we were all expecting, okay, get back on track. Cabrera, who he's fighting, undefeated fighter, and I was like, it's a tough test to get. That's not like like a slump buster. Like you're getting back in there with an undefeated guy, hungry fighter, trained by Freddie Roach, and 7 seconds in the fight, puts him down.
Nice little left hand.
Whew. And it didn't get any better from there.
Yeah.
Then what? A minute later, went down again.
Yeah, goes down again, and it just seemed to just be the same thing, kind of over and over, and there wasn't an adjustment. It gets dropped again later.
5th round.
I thought maybe he won a round, maybe.
Didn't one of my guy lose a point for holding or something?
Did he yesterday? He lost in a previous fight, Cabrera. I don't think he lost. Did he lose a point yesterday?
Yeah, it took a point for holding.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe he won a round, but something's just off with him. I don't know if Zittel, if you have any.
Yeah,
insight
it was tough to watch. It was tough to watch him go down like that on the first punch he got hit with in the fight, and that lets you know something's not right with young Gabe Flores. And first and foremost, I want to give him a lot of credit for the heart he displayed in both of his losses. Mm-hmm. Those were fights that could have been stopped, maybe arguably rounds before they were, but he wasn't going to quit, and he showed the heart that makes him a fighter. Gabe Flores, but. It was tough to watch because him getting signed at the time as the youngest professional Bob Arum and Top Rank had ever signed. Mm-hmm. I think now that's Xander Zayas, but at the time it was him. And I could have sworn when I saw his first handful of fights, he was going to become a world champion because of his hand speed and his boxing ability and his movement. And then he knocks out Jason Velez with a big left hook, and he starts kind of falling in love with his power, even though he's not a knockout puncher. And I don't think that did him favors since getting that big knockout.
Yeah.
And what was tough is Sean talked about Edgar Berlanga and not wanting him to see on TV, which was kind of a new take. Like, I've never really heard that before. And I thought back to that and I said, maybe that would have done Gabe some good in this rebuilding stage where we're just, like we talked about a pitcher or a hitter in baseball, all of a sudden the mechanics are off, and then you got to like start from scratch. Yeah. And that's kind of like with Berlanga, that's what's happened with Gabe.
Shout out to Noriega. He said the boxing game and the rap game is just the same. You don't put a rapper on the stage before he's ready. You put a rapper in small venues until he's ready for the big stage. And then if something happens, you go back and you work on your craft. Same thing with comedians. Like I love this sport because you can basically equate anything to it. Comedians at the highest level, once it's not going the way they needed to, they go back. They digress to progress. And I don't think that that's going to happen for Gabe. I think that it kind of is what it is. I think Gabe is who he is as a boxer. I think at 135, Tim, I agree with him 100%. He's not strong enough. And I don't just get the tweet out.
Yeah.
I just don't think that he's healthy to be a professional boxer. And here's the thing, and it's very hard for guys to accept it. If you worked your life for something and then you can't do it the way you worked to do it, and you got to figure out something else, it's damn near impossible. And then, I talked about that in the fight that I felt like his dad should have stopped. His dad didn't stop it because you You throw in the towel, and now you're seeing everything that you worked so hard for. Everything that you worked so hard for, it all goes down the drain. And so they're trying to salvage Gabe Flores. And I don't really know what the move is for Top Rank, putting him in the ring with the undefeated fighter.
Guy, yeah.
Almost like, prove now
and
or
in the
now or
co-main
never.
too. Like this wasn't on the ESPN Plus undercard. Like it was the co-main event.
Yeah.
And then afterwards he's saying he wants a rematch with him, and
you need to listen to Sean Porter.
And then he's saying he didn't listen to his corner, and I'm just like, yeah, this is a lot of like
excuses.
But it's the same thing that's happened 2 fights now. That it's just like it's not working.
Let me say this. Because I had a phone call with somebody the other day, and they really weren't too happy with what I had said about them on the show. And I said, you know what? Maybe when I know what I feel I know, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should leave it up to the fighters or the coaches or management, whatever, to say what I believe is going on. And we've talked about this before when we talk about a fighter retiring. We shouldn't retire fighters on our show. We should leave that up to them. We can, of course, say our opinion if we feel like, hey, this is the last, hoorah for you. Yeah. I do understand that, but I want to make it clear that I'm not being hard on the young man. I think without knowing him, I am aware and concerned. I don't know if I've ever even shook hands with Gabe Flores, but what I see is his reaction time is not what it needs to be. Not even it's not what it needs to be to fight at the level that he's expecting or expected to fight at. You're fighting undefeated fighters. It's a different level. It kind of is what it is. Of course, the power is not there. If you're not listening to your corner, and you've said that multiple times in fights, that means there's a disconnect, and that's just something that you just can't do in a fight situation when the lights come on, when you're on the big stage. All that being said, what I tweeted last night, I just don't think that he's healthy enough. I don't think that he is for the sake of words, good enough. Though those are our assessments based on me, I guess for the sake of words, wanting to protect him. And that's why the tweet came, is because I want everybody to understand that it's not that he sucks. It's not that these guys are like just so much better than him. I do believe that there's some other things that are preventing him from being at the level that we hoped he would get to. And so I just want to make it clear, like I'm not trying to come down on the young man. I'm not trying to put him down or anything like that at all. But from what I see, it looks like when you don't have the reaction, the timing, obviously it can be you working on things in the gym to get your timing better and things like that. But you're young. Well, how old is he now?
22.
Yeah, 22.
Which is why it'd be heartbreaking to tell a young kid with fast hands, great amateur background, signed as the youngest, and now you're going to tell him to do something else with his life?
Yeah.
Does he almost need
hard.
And I'm not even sure if it, timing wise, do you need to just
it has nothing to do with the fact that
can he recharge and come back?
Yeah, just like a sabbatical. Go away, get healthy, get your mind right, and just kind of figure that out. Because I don't. I'm not as qualified talking as you. I'm not sure if it's like boxing tactics that are letting him down. It's physical, and it's not listening. It's not. Yeah. It doesn't seem like I'm not watching that. Like, if you would have did this, something's just not right with him. So I feel like just kind of getting away. And
I can't say this when a fighter's not listening or following instructions on fight night. It can be like nerves. It can be like anxiety. It can be some other things that aren't defeated before you get to the ring. Yeah. So I honestly could be wrong. I mean, again, he's 22. Yeah. I'm more than likely wrong in saying that his health, I don't think is where it should be. But if the disconnect is the listening and things like that on fight night, when we have an opportunity to see him, it's the worst time for you not to be able to make that connection. The sabbatical, to the putting yourself in situations where the blood is really hot and you got to think and you got to fight through things, just like they train soldiers in the military. They put them in war situations so that they understand how to control everything once that war actually happens. And so, I think, the sabbatical.
Just take a break. Just get away. He's still young.
Yeah.
Is it a chance? The guy has, just 21-2? He got 23 fights. He turned pro in 2017. Did they push him too fast? Is that about chance?
We're going to talk about Jose Benavidez in a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was another kid who got a lot 202 at an early age. Gabe, though, despite being, signed at the youngest age, it's not like he was headlining on TV right away.
He was a big draw in Stockton. He was a big draw, and so I think it probably was tough. Not that they put him in like with these monster killers or anything like that, but he's fighting well and he's a good sell. So it's tough if you're top ranked to be like, whoa, let's not push you forward. Let's kind of hold you back because
he was dating to fight Carson every other month. Like he fought in August, and he was talking ran it back in September.
He was talking about fighting like when he was in high school. Yeah, it was he got signed so young. He was like, I was fighting and still like going to high school.
He was fighting grown men as a kid.
Yeah, I think he's still
and beating them.
Yeah, I think he's still young enough. I think he can probably get back on track to some extent. I'm not sure if he's going to get back to this heralded amateur that was knocking people out, like you said, the Velez knockout. Yeah. But I think he can get back to somewhat on track.
And like again, let's just be honest. Do you see NCAA basketball players that are like elite? They go to the NBA and then it just doesn't translate. Right. So. And those guys, I think if anything, they're kind of pushed out of the league. Yeah. In this situation, you just have to take a look at everything. Were you an elite amateur who was a little bit more mature and beyond the guys that you were getting in the ring with, and then now as a pro, it's kind of like a even playing field now, when you're not, And
even talking about getting away from it, we can kind of close on that.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get these learning lessons and don't try to figure stuff out in fights like this. Mm-hmm. Like that's a young guy yesterday that took a beating for 10 rounds. Yeah. So don't go back in there and say, I'll figure it out in the ring. Yeah. Because you don't need to take punishment for 10 rounds. I wouldn't have been mad if his dad stopped the fight yesterday. I wouldn't have been mad if he stopped the fight when he was losing before. Yeah. Like, you don't need to just constantly take beatings and say, okay, and I'm learning.
I didn't think he took a beating yesterday. I just think he was a little outmatched.
Down 3 times, big cut. I don't know.
Yeah, and the cut near the end of the fight too.
Yeah, it felt like learn that outside of the ring. Mm-hmm. Try to figure out as much as you can about yourself and your fighting style. Yeah, outside of that.
And just what was concerning again is the way he reacted to punches. Unlike Jose Vargas, he was able to pull through and make it to a final bell, but when a guy gets hit and you just see the way their body reacts to it, he wasn't reacting well to taking shots. Yeah. And he, we mentioned the Velez knockout. He started to believe in his power a little bit, but I really think his gift is his speed and his boxing ability. So that's what should be, probably his foundation when he recovers and eventually gets back.
It's like
box.
Left all that. Yeah. He's like left all that.
Yeah. Right.
It's everything is one jab or 1-2, but I
think some of these guys get influenced by Canelo.
And then, just to give the other guy a little bit, what was his name?
Cabrera.
I do.
Cabrera. Yeah, just to give him, like, he fought hard, he fought strong, courageous, he stalked, and it was like he was so comfortable in there. I think that's another reason why you see a big difference right there. You see his hands down and he's comfortable. He trusts his reaction timing. He trusts his corner. He trusts his training. And I think then there again is just a separation between what you're seeing from Flores and you're seeing from Cabrera. Yeah. I like the kid. I thought that he looked really good. That's my first time seeing him.
He punches. He looks like he punches harder than 7 KOs.
And he looks like he punches a little harder too
than his record says.
It looked like he got a little thump.
Yeah. And just for Flores, what was a little concerning for him too in his career was you keep waiting for that grown man strength, and you see like the Haney's, growing into the grown man strength now, and it's just he's only 22, but it felt like it's taken a long time to come along. And he trains very hard. I know he trains hard. It's not like he's leaving something in the gym, but that muscle and it's a problem. It wasn't developing for him for whatever reason. Everybody's body's different, and he needs some of that to keep these guys off,
especially at 35.
Yeah, especially at 35. Yeah. So
and then
because the speed's there.
Yeah. I hope for him.
We spent way too long this fight.
We did.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, young guy. I hope he figures it out.
It was a slow weekend.
Yeah, and then main event, Dogboe, Joet Gonzalez. pretty much went exactly as I thought it would. Almost a 50-50 fight going into it.
Yeah.
And played out like a pretty much 50-50 fight.
Yeah.
I had Dogboe winning by a round, but I wouldn't have been mad if they would have said draw. Wouldn't have been bad 96-94 Gonzalez. It was that close of a fight. But overall takeaways from the...
Well, props for beating a bigger guy. first
Yeah,
and foremost.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And what you got?
Ant, what you got?
This is a lose-lose situation for my man, Dogboe. I think he needs a couple more fights with Barry Hunter. I just think they need a couple, maybe even a rematch with this guy. But you need a couple more fights at this level with Barry Hunter. Was this only a second fight together?
Third.
Yep. It's coming together, but Dogboe is older. I mean, his body's older. He's still what, 28?
26, I think.
26?
he's only
That's such a big. I mean, it's 2 years, but that's a big difference in the boxing game.
But
But yeah, you can just see stuff. Barry Hunter's getting him better, but I've seen a lot of little weaknesses in this game, like dropping the left hand, taking big shots. Like, come on, man, just keep your left hand up. But he has a great guy in his corner in Barry Hunter. He knows what to say to him in the rounds. You know, we always say Sean Dad, Derek James actually said stuff during the rounds. Barry Hunter didn't say stuff, but he said stuff.
Yeah.
Barry Hunter almost had me getting off the couch.
Yeah. So the only problem is my man next up is he's the #1 contender for WBC and the WBO. And that's Ray Vargas and Carson, go ahead.
Navarrete.
Who
he's
already
lost
beat him
twice.
twice.
It's just like, what do you do?
So I would like
I know, Sean, you're a killer. You say, give me
give
a
him
fight
again. Yeah, third time's the charm. You know what?
I would like to be like Carson, but I'm like, oh man, duck him.
I can't think of I don't know who it was that said this on Twitter, but I think this is perfect. But they were saying, what if Navarrete goes to 30 and fights Shakur? What about a fight like Dogboe and Robeisy Ramirez? Somebody like that.
Solid
good fight, 126.
Yeah, it's a solid fight, especially if Navarrete's going to move up and vacate
Anyway,
the WBO.
yeah.
Then
I don't hate like a Ray Vargas fight. Navarrete,
I would rather
you've
Mark.
been in there
I
twice.
don't even know if a
Mark
Ray
fight.
Vargas fight can happen because
Very true. Fair
When I
point.
threw that down,
Yeah, very fair point. I liked exactly what Ant said. I like what I saw a lot from Dogboe. Defense, and Barry kept saying defense first, focus on that. There were just some lax moments defensively, but when he's fighting like he should fight, and exactly like Barry was instructing him to do, when you're inside work, when you're not, get out of range, because he would work a little bit and then he'd hover, he'd linger there just for a little bit, and then he'd get hit with a big shot, and it was like,
Carson, I thought early on he did a great job. First 4 rounds, he did a great job.
Was it the fourth that he got wobbled?
Yeah,
in?
wobbled in the fourth.
First 3,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could argue he lost. I think he won those first 3 easy. Fourth round, he gets wobbled. So yeah, when he's fighting well, but then sometimes it's just takes the foot
when
off
he's
the
in
gas
his
a little bit.
range, he does some beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
The combinations he puts together, his punches on the inside have always been explosive and beautiful. Dogboe. It's just that no one can, for the most part, no one can fight like that for 3 minutes at every round. Just constantly in a man's chest, constantly letting combinations go. Hey, Sean used them feet.
That's
he
act-
backed out.
That's
too,
actually
right?
that's
You know.
actually Sean's biography as a boxer.
I would say
Fighting in boxer's
No, but
chest.
Sean-
3 minutes
Thurman
around.
Porter, was it Thurman Porter, 2013? I don't even know if that was the year.
But Sean could use his feet and move his head and use the jab on the outside
Yeah.
in between
Little
getting in that
little
ass,
bounce,
getting in where you really want to go.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the stuff I guess Barry wants to work on Dogboe, because you can't be in that range all 3 minutes every round. And you're going to walk into shots if you're constantly trying to be in that range. So at some point you got to do something on the outside, and it looks like that's what Barry's working on.
Here's an interesting thing. I didn't know I didn't score the fight, but I couldn't tell who won the fight. And I didn't think they were gonna give him the decision. I'm not saying he got a gift. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna get this. He got it. I know Isaac, so I was happy and I
Shot
was
the
proud.
bug.
But here's the thing, this was a 10-round fight. And upwards to the last 4 to 5 rounds, every time Isaac Dogboe came back to the corner, man, trust your conditioning.
Yeah.
You in shape. You did all the work. You in shape. Now he's gone 10 rounds. He's felt it. And that was already preached to him. Now that's not gonna, we're not gonna have to worry about that anymore. And I heard Dre say something. He said, hey, those those nightmares of being hurt in later rounds, those nightmares of being hurt are coming back. They will come back and creep up on you, and it's true. But then when you make it through, your hand gets raised, and then you're able to sit back and relax, and then kind of like, meditate on the whole fight, meditate on the training. You say, yeah, I did it. I made it. Yeah. I can do that again. I can do that again. So I do think that this fight, as soon as he was announced the winner, I sat back and I was like, he's going to be better because of this experience. This is some of the experiences that I talk about. Guys need to have experience. None of us want adversity, but when you have a little bit of adversity, you make it through it. It makes you a champion.
Makes champion.
Oh yeah,
That's what they say. That's what they say.
I do think that I'm not saying he's going to be Navarrete. I'm not saying any of that, but I do think that some of the things we saw last night, the lulls and the laziness or the fear of having to work so hard, so he just stayed right there in the pocket without punching. I think that those are things that you're going to improve on because he's had that experience. Flip side of that, Barry's all about skills. Barry's all about the basics and the fundamentals and being slick and being sharp. So I do think he's gonna get better. He's 27 now. He turns 28 in September. I don't give a damn about his age. I'm just saying that to say, if you're feeling like he's got to put a little rush on it or anything like that, this is 3 fights with Barry now. You've had some really good hard experience with Barry. Y'all are going to grow from this. Yeah, y'all they're going to grow from this.
Yeah. I still, I'm a believer in him. I'm not a believer in anybody being Navarrete, but and I think Barry.
He's a half foot tall.
What about Shakira Stevenson?
He's not at 130 yet. So let's just relax.
Carson don't like to move weights at all. Yeah. He's like, no, stick to this weight.
Yeah. Well, when he's there, we'll figure it out. But like Sean mentioned with Barry, with Boog, I'm not sure if he worked with Wade. He's worked with Wade in the past for Dogboe. Mm-hmm. That's just a team that's going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no doubts, especially with like lapse in judgment.
Yeah,
which I think some of the times he was a little lax defensively. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Knowing Barry slightly.
Well, because Barry's going to challenge him too.
Like, hey,
yeah, he's going to challenge him. Yeah. You telling me that the running that we did and you can't move right, he's going to challenge them. They will get better.
I've seen Barry, if he's not happy with your sparring, he makes you run up the mountain harder than you were originally scheduled to do so. He'll punish you.
Sean's like, a friend. Yeah, I saw a friend have to do that once.
It wasn't Sean that day. Yeah. It was, I'm happy Andre said that about those nightmares coming back to Dogboe, because when he won his world title beating Jesse Magdaleno, who got that belt from beating Donaire. He was undefeated when Dogboe knocked him off. Mm-hmm. He outworked him. He out-hustled him. Mm-hmm. His gas tank helped win him that fight. Mm-hmm. And then Navarrete, gives him 2 punishing fights, and he hasn't been throwing as many punches per round since then. Yeah. But now that guy, Barry, is bringing that out. And if Barry can get all of that confidence back from when he was undefeated and mix it with some science and smarts,
everything you're saying sound like Adrien Broner needs Barry Hunter.
Unbelievable.
Maybe 5 or 6 years ago that would have been real.
Dang.
So I was.
I didn't say that.
Well, so I was so excited.
No, because you get to a point where things can erode, and even when you put in the hard work, you can't get back. Maybe what you lost. So I just mean. It would have been nice to see Barry get with AB when he fought Mikey Garcia in 2017, and the talent was still all the way there. We'll see. I'm not trying to trash AB.
Honestly, he'll benefit from a coach like Barry.
Right.
Your dad and coach and Adrien Broner would have been great.
I heard that before.
That camp isn't ending. Like that camp, they're not making that to the fight.
But to be fair, he got Kevin Cunningham is he's gonna make you work your ass off too. So if Kevin had him ready for Pacquiao.
I just think he's comfortable with Kevin now.
I was excited for Canelo to fight Bivol because I felt that I was gonna be vindicated for this confident prediction. I can't wait until Adrien Broner lights Omar Figueroa's ass up.
You guys put in the comments. Do you think Adrien Broner knocks out? You got him.
Omar Figueroa.
Omar Figueroa.
Yeah.
I got it. A draw.
I think he stops him.
Adrien Broner is shot.
Nah, I think he stops him. I cannot.
Sean Porter didn't say that because I know you're getting called.
I cannot wait till he wins that fight.
And then what?
And the 100th episode will be the next day.
The Rollie?
No, that
Rolly Romero
that-
stops Adrien
that
Broner.
build-up will be unbelievable. But I can't
That fight
wait.
might actually happen.
Yeah. But
I know.
the 100th
Rolly
episode
and AB.
will be that next day.
That could happen.
I can't
How's that
wait.
fight end?
Rolly's got the youth. He should win.
I
He should
say
win.
Rolly's TKO. He just putting it on him. Big shots.
I mean, AB's been in some big fight. He's got some miles on the odometer. Rolly should win.
You know, there's athletes where in any sport where you just have you just love them so
He
much.
comparing him to Jordan Washington.
Yeah.
So let me tell you why he's the greatest. Now, there's athletes where you just have a connection to him and people talk about him. And
You
you're just
don't. You don't got a connection.
no, I'm talking about emotional connection, not an actual connection.
Oh, okay.
Like you're just a fan of that guy. I'm sure there's a football player where you're like, that was my guy. And when people trash him, you're like,
Yep.
hey, wait a damn second.
Gonna say
That's
what it
Adrien
is.
Broner. That's Adrien Broner for me. I'm like, come on, man.
Well, just because I feel bad, Al.
Yeah.
What he did against Antonio DeMarco was one of the best performances of the 2010s. Period.
What he did in the second half of Madonna was a great performance. A lot of people don't remember that. Me and Carson.
He
Nobody
hurt him.
remembers that but me and Carson.
yeah.
Oh,
Nobody remembers
He
that.
said,
all about it.
he said Broner hurt him, worse than Mayweather, as bad as he'd been hurt in a fight. He said Broner and Eric Morales rocked him about as bad as anyone ever did as a pro.
I'm telling you, we're gonna get the Cam Man on the 20th. I can't.
We need to get him on the
wait.
show.
I agree.
Sean Porter's
that on
texting
me?
right now. Yep.
It's
No,
100%
I'm not
on
gonna do you that like that no more.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, no, it's 100% on you. But yeah,
What we got next? Benavidez?
yeah. We have the fight's coming up. I'm not sure.
You
How
never
we
know
want-
what he's doing.
Yeah, how we want to go about that, but
Benavidez Garcia.
actually a pretty decent card.
Yeah.
So J Rock is on the undercard.
Okay.
Derevyanchenko is back, and then I think it's just is it just a triple header?
Yeah, Gary
Triple header?
Antoine opening
Gary
up.
Antoine
Penoski against the
Rancies.
Olympian.
Yeah, Barthélemy. I don't. Rancies. I love you. I love Cuban fighters. Gary Antoine Russell is. That's,
You okay? You okay?
That's
What you
just-
drinking over there? You good?
After his war with Robert Easter,
yeah,
Francis
yeah.
Barthélemy.
Fight of the year with Robert Easter.
Shout out to Robert Easter, Ohio.
Yeah, Toledo's own. Gary Antoine Russell is. There's not a lot of guys. If there is a guy at 140 off the top that can beat him, he is. He's gonna.
He is
especially
the guy at 140, huh?
He's one of the guys because
Yeah.
I think Josh Taylor's gonna move up.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously Regis is there.
Got a great
fighter.
motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was God. Y'all didn't hear what I heard.
But yeah, and then I just
What you do last night?
I was done. I was like,
he was
What
shook
you do
ones
last
over there. But yeah, we have a guest. You wanna
Let's do it. Welcome
Introduce
to the
the
Porterweight Podcast. 2-time super middleweight world champion.
youngest ever.
Youngest ever. Yeah. David Benavidez. Does he even
What's
have
up, guys?
Do you have a nickname?
El
You have a
Bandera
ring name?
Roja. I said it earlier.
The red
Yeah,
flag.
yeah.
He's
What-
slacking.
Say it again.
Tell him,
El
David.
Bandera Roja. It's like the red flag.
Okay.
And the way that came about was just,
I don't
you know,
care. I don't care. That's not no real. Yeah, no, that's not no real question. I was like, wait a minute. Does he even have? But I wasn't gonna take a stab at that anyway. But hey, how you feeling, big dog?
Feeling good, man. Thank you guys for inviting me again.
You got it, man. Happy to see you. What's going on now, man? What you waiting on?
Right now, I think I'm gonna get a fight somewhere around November. And honestly, I don't know, man. I'm just staying ready. I really want to get a crack at the at the big names like Caleb Plant, Charlo, David Morrell. So we're just kind of really waiting right now to see what's happening. And I'm just staying in the gym while I wait for that.
And let me ask you this. For me, I never really gave much input on who I was gonna fight. It was kind of like whoever was coming to me, that's what I would take. But near the end of my career, I started saying, kind of speaking up a little bit more. Are you in the position right now where you're kind of in demand? You're demanding certain fights, or are you just waiting to get back in the ring in November and whoever they give you it is what it is?
Well, I mean, yeah, right now I'm trying to demand it. Like I said, I want Caleb Plant, I want Charlo, but there's only so much I could do when these other fighters, they don't want to get in there, and fight you. So I guess I'm kind of, just really seeing what I could get. Right now, like I said, I paid my dues. I've been WBC ranked number 2 in the WBC for a while. I just won the WBC interim title. So, I feel like I'm in position to get a big fight. But once these want these other fighters, they don't want to fight you. You know, you can't really do much about that. So, you know, like I said, I'm ready. I'm ready for whoever. I'm ready to show everybody. I'm ready to show the world I'm the best super middleweight in the world. It's just, you know, I'm just for other fighters to willing to accept that challenge to show everybody.
Are you texting anybody? Are you messaging anybody like, hey, when we gonna do this?
I mean, the only two people that I really want to fight, it's either Caleb Plant and Charlo. Those are the main guys I want. So they both know, you know. Caleb, you know, I DM him here and there, but, you know, just talking shit. But, you know, that's, you know, kind of getting old too.
Does he ever respond?
Yeah, because you know how Caleb is, the way he responds. But yeah, he responds from time to time. So yeah.
Hey David, I you know these guys know. Hey, you're my favorite, man. You up there. I be telling people at the house, I'm like, that's the Mexican boogeyman right there. I had you beating Canelo and everything. But down the road. Hey man, you know, they call out everybody else, but they won't say your name. They say it on Twitter, but are they really on their side trying to make the fight happen? Or are they just talking? Charlo, Caleb Plant.
They're just talking, bro. To be honest, this fight wouldn't be really hard to make happen. You know, they're Al Heyman, Luis Cubas is a matchmaker for everybody. So, I mean, I tell them I want to fight, but I mean, there shouldn't be nothing holding this fight up. I feel like even if Caleb Plant would have wanted to fight me for the WBC interim title, it would have been extremely easy to make happen. Or Charlo. I mean, I feel like because the WBC interim title that I just won against David Lemieux was vacant. So if we would have made that, me versus Charlo, and then the winner fights Canelo after, that would have been big, you know? So I feel like there's a lot of time being wasted, you know, on both sides. I've been calling these guys out for a long time, so I'm getting a little frustrated, you know, and I don't want to disrespect nobody, but I don't want to keep fighting these no names, you know. It does give me a little more experience, but like I feel like I'm ready. And I feel like if the reason why these fights aren't happening is because the guys on that side, they're not ready. You know, they talk all this and that they'll take me to school, this and that. So then why don't you do it? You know, get a good paycheck, you know, get some respect from the fans, and then move on to the next. You know, I really don't feel why. I don't understand why people they're not making these fights happen. So it's definitely because of Caleb Plant and Charlo. They don't want to make the fights happen, and that's very apparent.
Do you think Morrell may be more realistic then if he's maybe not half-stepping as far as the fight goes?
Well, yeah, that's what we're trying to look forward. We're trying to get that fight too. But I mean, I haven't heard anything. I've been calling them out since they said that they were going to fight me next, and they said that he was going to make me his little bitch, supposedly, this and that. I seen on the article, so I'm like, all right, bet, let's get it. You know, I've been trying to talk to Luis Cubas about making that fight happen, and I don't really see no movement or anything that's happening. So I mean, it's the same. It's the same from everybody. Everybody talks like they're the biggest shit out there, and then everybody's scared of them. But when it's really time to make the fight happen, you know, they're nowhere to be found.
Hey, David, are you a psycho like Michael Jordan and all these people don't call you bitches or DM you and you just psych yourself up to kill them in the ring like this?
I mean, that's how it has to be against every opponent.
Yeah.
I feel like every opponent, you got to take them extremely serious. It's either them or you know, so you got to make that decision, you know. I feel like I'm a nice guy and everything, but inside the ring is strictly business, and I'm really trying to knock everybody out, everybody that fight.
I don't even remember where we were at, but we were traveling through the airport together. We walked and we talked, and you were with your family and all this and that. I remember I was getting on the plane. I was like, man, he is a nice guy.
Oh, sure.
And then there's a 7-punch combination coming at your face. You're like, maybe not. I don't know.
But I feel like me and Sean, we like really gravitate towards each other because we're really the same person. You know, we're really nice guys outside the ring. And, you know, I don't like problems, but if, you know, people trying to mess with me, I'm not going to let nobody punk me. And in the ring, you know, I feel like it's funny because the people who talk like they're killers outside the ring, inside the ring, they're really not, you know. So I really thought it was funny how that always happens. But with me, you know, and Sean Porter he's the same way, you know. Nice guys outside the ring, but when we're in the ring, we're trying to take the guy's head off every round.
Do you remember, you know, like meeting Sean when you were still a youngster in LA at the Wild Card and he was sparring your brother?
I met him a long time ago. I remember my brother telling me about when you guys used to spar in
at the Wild Card.
No, not in. Remember where was it? The one where Joel
Justin Fortune's gym, was it?
Fortune. That might have been Timothy Bradley.
Yeah,
Bradley. I remember Sean, and you know your father he was always a really nice guy. So you know, I have really good memories about them. I've been knowing them for a long, long time.
You mentioned your brother. Are you excited for the fight this weekend?
I'm very excited, man. I'm very excited. I feel like it's not going to be an easy fight. It's going to be a tough fight, but I feel like this is where he wants to be in his career. He has a lot of experience, and I feel like with him having his 2 daughters now, his motivation is, just through the roof right now. So I feel like this is a new chapter in his career, and I'm very excited to see that fight.
When's
David,
when's the last time y'all sparred?
The last time we sparred was a couple months ago. It's just that I get a little bit too big for him now, so I don't really, and then we get into it too much. I would be trying to knock him out, trying to knock me out, so and then we don't talk for weeks. So we
How do
away
you
from that.
How do you think he gives Danny Garcia trouble, especially at 154?
I think he gives him trouble with his jab. He's always had a good jab. He's always had a good body shot. So people that always have good jabs, they're able to keep the distance. And but I feel like Danny Garcia, he's going to be in there trying to look for that left hook all night. So we got a good game plan set up for him. So it's going to be a good night for us.
Hey, David, down the road, maybe a year or two, hey, I got Pops getting trainer of the year. He got some killers on his team.
Rayo.
And Rayo, and then I think
Pacheco?
Yeah, you're gonna lead the way once you clip the big names, because everybody keeps calling out Canelo, but you're the top dog over here on the PBC side to get to Canelo. So you got to get through me to get through Canelo, which is not possible. I'm riding with you. You're my guy. I'm riding with you.
That's what I've been saying lately too, bro. I feel like but that's why people they always use that against why would I fight David when I have that's exactly what Caleb said. Why would I fight David when I have bigger fish to fry?
Who?
Talking about Canelo. But that's what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks they're entitled to that fight when the only one entitled to it is me.
Yep.
I'm the one that has the WBC interim title, so that means title shot next. But I really don't know what's going on now.
Hey, does Caleb make it 11 with you?
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Caleb Plant is a good fighter. I'm taking nothing away from him. I definitely won't say it's an easy fight, but the motivation I would have for that training camp would be insane. Especially because I don't like Caleb Plant, and it's going to be a big fight that everybody's going to be watching. So I wouldn't say he makes it out the 11th. I don't know what round, but he wouldn't make it out that fight in a decision.
David,
I love it.
Jose's got such a big opportunity here, but just to take it back, rewind a little bit, he was a phenom at 17, sparring with Manny, and his speed and his talent was really something. It looked like he could become a star. When that kind of goes wayward a little bit, and he's got a big chance, against Danny to make everything good. But was that hard on you when you saw your big brother start to go left a little bit? And did it motivate you and put it more on your shoulder? Like now I really got to do this. I got to be. That just made it. You feel like you had to take up the slack that much more. And what was that like when that started to happen? And then,
I mean, it was never like I had to take up slack. I didn't feel like he put pressure on me either. I feel like that was his career, and some things affected him a little bit more than I thought. And I think about that time that he had got shot. He had been boxing his whole life, so I think he was a little burnt out at that time. Mm-hmm. But just seeing him coming back, he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for his daughters and his family. But, just having him there in my corner, he'd always been a big motivation to me. I feel like if it wasn't for my brother, I would have never boxed, because he always motivated me, just seeing him, sparring with Manny Pacquiao and being at the wild card and, sparring all these other great fighters, and then, starting his own career, being having a great professional career. That always motivated me. And, just like he was there for me, whatever happens to him, I'll be there for him, always. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm always going to be here by his side.
Yeah, you mentioned getting burnt out. Do you think some of it was a lot came to him at a really young age? He was the youngest national Golden Gloves champion at 16, and people were interviewing him when he was just a teenager. And yeah, you could say that it came a little bit too fast. I mean, you guys see what happens when things come fast. Just using me as an example. You could go, the wrong path. Really quick. But I feel like some people cope with it a little bit different than other people. And but I'm just glad that he's back in this position. He has an amazing opportunity, big opportunity right here. And I'm just excited for the future, just to be able to fight with him on the same card, just like how we did last year in November, just
fighting with my brother on the same card, and this is just a dream come true. So I'm just, hopefully in the future we could get more fights on the same card together.
Do you think he's going to be hungrier than Danny? Because, Danny's made some good money and made good investment. But like you said, your brother's a father now, and this is a big chance for him. Do you feel like that can make a difference in this fight? Jose is going to be more mature and hungrier in this fight.
I can't say nothing about how hungry Danny Garcia is. I don't really know him as a person like that, so I don't know what makes him hungry and what doesn't. But I could tell you that my brother really is. He's focused. He's motivated right now, and we've been working hard. So it's a big opportunity, but it's a tough fight as well. So it's going to be whoever wants it whoever wants to win the most on July 30th.
And let me ask you this. I think we'll probably let you go after this. If you could orchestrate your next 3 fights, what would your career look like? Your next 3 fights.
So I would have a fight with David Morrell, Caleb Plant, Charlo, and then Canelo. I think that's the way that happens. That would be the most perfect fights because, at this point in my life, I feel like the more experience I get before I get in the ring with Canelo would be better for me. Mm-hmm. I feel like I could beat him either way, but I feel like the experience would just give me a better idea of how to handle everything a little bit more, with those fights. And I think those fights are, they're really big fights. Yeah. And hopefully that it's still a possibility that it could happen like that. We're just still waiting to see who we get who we have as an opponent for November. But I feel like there's a big possibility that could be my next 4 fights. It's a really big possibility, and that's great for the fans too. And I'm very excited and motivated to give those fights.
Hey, David, when you was watching the Canelo Bivol fight, was you looking at it like that's food right there? Because all I was thinking was, man, if David had him in this moment, he gonna get like 100 shots.
Yeah, it just gave me like a different perspective too, because a lot of the other fighters that he was fighting, like Caleb Plant and Callum Smith and Billy Joe Sanders, there were different type of fighters in me. So they were they were not as powerful. And then once you get a Bivol in there with them, I'm saying, oh, this is exactly the type of fight I would have him in, because I'm a stronger guy. And I've sparred Bivol too. We had some great sparring sessions. So I definitely seeing that fight with Bivol and Canelo, it just like opened my eyes even more. I feel like I could definitely stop Canelo.
Okay.
I like it.
You open for the Bivol fight?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That would be a great fight. Like I said, we had some amazing sparring sessions. The other fight I do wanted to get to when I move up to 75 is, we're friends, but I think me versus Zurdo Ramirez will be an excellent fight for boxing.
Yeah, we've been talking about that one.
Okay.
We've been talking about that one. We want to see that one.
You think he beats Bivol?
I don't know, bro. This is a good fight. They're both good fighters, but I think I beat both of them.
Hey, when you
better be F2?
Maybe, I still gotta dip my feet in the 175.
Appreciate that.
But I feel like how I feel right now, I feel like I could beat everybody. It's just experience. You don't want to move too fast. You got to know what you're doing. Before you throw yourself in the deep end. So, yeah,
everything happens right on time, my man. Listen, and he refers to you as the nightmare. He says,
no. I said
you are a nightmare.
Mexican boogeyman.
Oh, the Mexican boogeyman. He says you are a nightmare for everybody.
Ecuadorian
at
too.
168.
Bandera Roja.
Who wants it? He'll go to heavyweight if you want him to. Tell him, David.
The hell did he just say?
I don't know.
He'll go to heavyweight.
Oh, heavyweight.
Yeah. David ready for all of them.
Hold on. No, he's not ready for heavyweight. Not yet, though.
Oh, my bad. All right.
Appreciate you for coming on the podcast, man. Have a great day, all right?
Take it easy.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Later, David.
All right.
Ant got out of. I don't know.
That was my guy right there.
Ant was getting worked up.
I thought
I was a
ready for
Benavidez.
everybody. He didn't go to heaven.
I thought he was gonna say he was gonna send somebody to heaven. I was like, oh my god, Jesus.
I
was like, whoa. I was like,
I thought I liked David Benavidez.
No, I always been a fan.
Yeah, Ant was going.
Always been a fan.
I've never seen that Ant before. I've known him for years.
I'm over here like, damn, he gonna take on the Angels? What?
And to be fair, he's a pretty dope fighter. So
Absolutely, and great guy. And we want to go back. We need to dive too deep, X's and O's on these fights. But I do think Gary Antuanne. Does anyone think
he's a great motor?
Yeah. Does anyone think Barthélemy?
No.
He's a tricky fighter. If he's anything, he's tricky.
It definitely is going to see we'll see the growth of Gary Antuanne at this point.
And Gary obviously will be fighting with Gary Jr. in the corner. Obviously, RIP to big Gary. Absolutely. So that's a factor as well.
Absolutely.
So that's the first of the Russell brothers going out there without their dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that'll open the Showtime telecast, and Kaunowski against Demirizin,
Yeah, Olympian.
who fought on the all heavyweight card.
On the Showbox card.
Yeah,
It was January. Like,
was it this January?
Yeah, it was New Year's Day.
Was it this January?
Fox pay.
January 1st. Yeah.
Oh, the Charles Martin.
it was. Yeah,
Luis
the all
Ortiz card.
heavyweight card. He's a decent fighter. He stopped Gerald Washington that day. So
Shout out
Gerald
to
Washington,
Gerald.
yeah, been in there with some guys. So
Went like
news.
5 rounds of Wilder.
yeah, good news
Yeah.
for Babyface is his opponent is not much taller than him.
Oh, that's really good news.
Yeah, they're both 6'3", I think, maybe 6'3" and 6'4", but they're similar heights because Helenius was too tall, too strong, and he just had nothing for him. So yeah, getting back in there with a guy that's similar height as him will definitely be good for him. The main event, 154, Danny Garcia.
154.
I went back and watched that Errol Spence fight. And just get a fresh look at, get a quick little breakdown before the show.
Last time we've seen.
And Danny held his own in that fight. And there was times Errol turned in the 8th and 9th, Errol turned it up on him like he did to Ugas. But to Danny's credit, he's strong. He could take a good shot. His defense, he was alert enough, had enough skills to hold his own in there and get through that fight with Errol. But so I think, look, Danny, they both started at 140. Danny was the champion at 140.
He was the guy.
Right.
He was the guy.
Right. And so in their primes, he was better. So if they're a half step out of their primes, he should still be better. And I think he might be rejuvenated. He hasn't taken too much punishment in his career. Errol lumped him up a little bit, but he's always been a strong guy.
No true punishment. Punches, that are almost flooring him, if not flooring him. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Coming up to 154, he's more comfortable now. He said that in the interview.
Yeah.
Even more comfortable in training. And I know from my own experience, when you're good in training, you're good in the fight. So I think that some things that were missing because of stress and other situations along the way at 147, I think that those things will be gone at 154. So I'm super curious to see what Danny Garcia looks like. I said Danny moving up to 154 was going to be good for him. And outside of Charlo, he could become a champion. So we'll see what happens.
Well, unfortunately, he has all the belts. There is no outside of Charlo now.
I think Jose, he's going to give him trouble because, like David said, good jab, which can definitely give Danny some trouble at times. I would have been more interested. Not that this is by no means this is a bad matchup. I think it's actually a good matchup.
It's actually a really good matchup.
But I would have been more maybe uneasy about Danny fighting somebody who's very established at 54. Like if he was fighting somebody that's always been at 54.
Tony Harris.
Yeah, or even started at 47. But obviously
guy.
Jose moving up
like
from 40, not a huge difference. It's not like, oh man, you're going in there. That's a bigger guy that you're fighting in there.
Yeah.
But Jose obviously has one fight under his belt at 54, so there factors in. I lean Danny. I don't think it's a stoppage. I think it goes the distance. But yeah, I lean Danny. I'll be interested to see how it looks. Probably I think Zittel mentioned it when we had Danny on. Maybe the most underrated chin of fighters nowadays.
He's a strong guy. Like
He
he could take a shot. He's sturdy.
Maybe I'm remembering or missing where he's never been dropped.
Not that I can
think so.
recall.
And I'm not sure if I've seen him like,
The worst I heard
Really?
on third was the first round with Thurman.
yeah.
Thurman hit him with that right hand, but he stayed up.
And he's been in there. I mean, look at his resume. Look at the guys he's been in there with. He's been in there with some big punchers.
Yeah.
And I can't remember a time where I was like, I don't know, Danny. Like, looked like he's in trouble. So
And I'll take Danny too, edge him. I could see Danny stopping him if Jose tries to turn it up, because at the end of the day, he has that dog style in him.
Yeah.
So if he turns it up, gets sloppy and gets hit with some clean shots from Danny, I could see him taking big shots and getting floored like that. Otherwise, I can see it's been a good fight, action-packed fight for both guys coming back. I didn't like how Jose looked in his last fight.
yeah.
A lot of people not talking about that. He did not look great in his last fight
Some
at
people
all.
thought he lost that fight.
Yes.
Very mediocre. in that
Yes.
fight.
But the Jose we seen Terrence Crawford in previous was amazing.
Yeah.
Do we get that guy back? Who knows?
Yeah.
If he stays healthy, doesn't get shot all the BS, do these guys have similar careers?
He had a great talent. I went back and watched his sparring with you. It's on YouTube from like 10 years ago. Great, pretty even round. But he When would you agree, Sean? Before
when we sparred,
he had talent.
He had skills. He had speed, and he knew what he wanted to do. I do remember that about him. And guys, sometimes you just kind of lose yourself in something in the pro game. Sometimes it's you fall in love with your power, like we were talking about with Gabe, and sometimes you feel like you need to pace yourself more, so you stop punching as much, and so on and so forth. And Jose Benavidez that lets his hands go and can be slick and intuitive the way that he was. That was like what
2018 when Crawford was 18.
No, when we sparred each other, it was like
12, 13,
2012. Yeah. He was. That was probably like 2012. Yeah, he was really good. So there's always a way to get yourself back to what you used to be.
Well, he's a special talent when even after the shooting, he's fighting Terrence effing Crawford, and fighting with his hands at his waist, and at times tagging him like that. Who else can fight with their hands at their waist and stand in front of Terrence Crawford and hold their own for any amount of time?
How does he? So you've been in there with him. How does he give Danny trouble?
Well, I mean,
been there with both.
Even
David
if you
just
don't
said
have
that.
to say like his last fight, but like
not even. I want to see that David. Jose Benavidez.
Yeah.
I want to see a young, youthful, active
activity.
Active Jose Benavidez beats Danny Garcia.
Okay.
Who has a better feet?
I think actually Jose Jr.
I think that's.
I don't think
problem
either
for
of them
him.
have great feet.
I think they both don't win Dancing with the Stars.
I think
I
that's
would agree.
But that's a problem for Jose because his last fight with Torres, he's doing his best Canelo Plant Saunders impersonation. He's just coming forward, big left hook, and all that hands at this. Well, he cut off the ring at times with his hands at the side. But
It's a conscious decision to not be who you used to be and be who you think you should be because of pace or because of this is gonna keep you safe and all of those things. I don't know what goes on in his mind or whatever, but we do know that he didn't have a good outing in his last fight. I said mediocre, and I do think that if there was a moment for him to kind of wipe that away, it's this fight right now, and much further beyond because it's Danny Garcia, but everything else. He's got 2 kids now in New York. Though. I mean,
that's what he alluded to again, and he said, "I'm not excusing my last performance, but his wife or his girlfriend was pregnant at the time with their second child, so he was like, I just wasn't really in the right spot." And he said, "Now this is the best he's felt mentally and physically in some time." So,
well, that is one.
It's a sneaky good fight, I think.
And trainer for trainer, he got the better trainer, Jose.
Sneaky good fight.
He got the better dad.
Best card of the year, some would say.
Angel Garcia.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
but
agree
not
with that.
better dad. That's,
But remember when Angel said in fight week, he said, "Look,
remember when Angel slapped shit out of Danny?
Said he was
Did he?
No, he said if
no,
you
you never hit it.
Stop,
yeah,
man.
no, he
Oh,
said
you-
he said if he
you got a call about
if you
that
don't
too?
he
No,
said,
I ain't get no call about
he
that.
said something about getting hit with an overhand right.
crossing the
He said
line.
he was gonna hit him with an
Oh,
overhand
you was in the
right.
fight, so you didn't hear this.
No.
Oh, I didn't. He crossed the line. Okay,
that's that Boricua thing. Felix Trinidad's dad used to do that to him. Pop,
he
pop,
slapped him in the fight.
all the time, every fight."
I would have.
Yeah, Angel said he said if you don't throw the overhand right, I'm gonna throw the overhand right at you or something. Angel
thought you
Garcia
slapped him.
Angel Garcia.
That's that
is
old
who he
this
is.
up.
That's old school.
Yeah, you're right. You're
I
right.
could be making this up, but I think one time I wasn't doing what my dad wanted me to do in training, and I can't. And like he wanted to slap me, but then like wasn't sure, and he like hit me a little bit.
Fainted.
Love tap.
He got that one through, and then he did it again. He said, "I need to hit you. Is that what I need you to do?"
I thought you was gonna say in the fight. I wasn't listening to my dad, and I looked over, and he slapped shit out of him. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
No.
Hey, Angel Garcia had one of the best quotes I ever seen from a trainer. It's fight week for Lucas Matisse. Everybody's picking Danny to get knocked out by Lucas
His dad was
Matisse.
talking that talk.
And he goes, the riders don't know anything. You guys don't know anything. Vegas don't know anything. I know everything. Danny Garcia is gonna be that.
That
He
being
did,
said,
and he did.
July 30th, Barclays Center. The tickets are still on sale. SeatGeek.com and also BarclaysCenter.com. You can get tickets if you're in New York or you need to make a trip over there. We're actually not going to go for this one. But you guys can get the tickets there. And, of course, Showtime.
Predictions.
I got Danny on points.
I got Danny late stoppage.
I'm curious, man.
I got Danny Garcia. I won't say points. I just got Danny.
What you guys got in the comments? Because Porterway and Mr. Porter won't say nothing. So,
Yeah,
you
y'all
gonna say something?
speak for me.
Say something.
My mind thinks that Danny Garcia is going to win this fight. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with Danny. And Ian. I hope so. And they said it. We're only thing he's gonna look for is that hook, and we're ready for that. That's kind of been like the stigma for Danny for a long time. And Danny came on the show and said we've been working on some things, so on and so forth. So I hope you're not just talking to me, but you're gonna do something different. I think if you can do more, if we get an active Jose Benavidez, he's gonna
got a right hand, Danny.
Yeah.
Danny's got a right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we got an active Jose, it's gonna be a long night for Danny.
And it's going to be a breakout performance from Gary Antuanne, I think.
Yeah.
So Danny,
Postal
do
was
agree
though,
with
right?
you.
I think this
Postal-
one. I think this one's going to be.
This one's gonna be better.
I
Okay.
think this is going to be
Yep.
his breakout star making performance.
Yeah.
Well, Benavidez threw 32 punches around last fight, so he'll have to get that up.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
Sean knows the technique to beat Danny. Work rate.
and
It is. It's work rate.
well, work rate and sometimes athleticism. And lateral movement. And Benavidez doesn't have that right now.
Yeah.
If he fights like he did his last fight, that's the style Danny likes. Get the counter punches off, come right to him.
I do think it's gonna be exciting though.
Yeah, it's going. I don't think any
It's
of
Mexican versus Puerto Rican.
and I don't think any of the three of these fights are going to disappoint. Yeah, I don't think. I think they're all going to be good. Nice little trifecta.
Card of the year, some would say.
No, nobody would say that.
We're watching that. We watching my house, your house. No, we got to go to your house. My baby on training.
Fight camp.
Fight camp.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't prepare anything to close this with today.
That's okay.
You want to use the Jeter quote?
You didn't even hit him with something?
No, I don't really care for the Jeter quote. If I'm
Really?
being honest. Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but I
You want me to hit him with something?
give him something.
Greatest shortstop ever.
Okay. What you got, Carson? Damn it. Go ahead.
No, mine's going to be something silly. Go ahead.
Don't cry to give up. Cry to keep going.
I feel like that wasn't like Winnie the Pooh or something.
Yeah, they should have. Oh, they cut it after I said something.
Was that Winnie the Pooh?
No, it wasn't no dang Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know. I feel like it was.
It's Eric Thomas.
Oh, I don't know. who that is.
E.T.
What
Motivational
about
speaker.
Eric Matthews?
About Eaton Thomas, the center for the Wizards.
Hey, you can cut it.
I got nothing. Don't cry to give up. Cry to keep going. See you guys.